One thing that a lot of people are very curious about when it comes to Star Wars Episode 9 has all to do with Carrie Fisher's portrayal of General Leia Organa. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now that is of course one thing that a lot of people are just eager to learn more about when it comes to this movie by J.J. Abrams that will conclude the Skywalker saga and the sequel trilogy itself. Now Abrams has a lot on himself right now. There's a lot of stress involved, I am sure. You know, completing the final Skywalker saga film, it's really a big deal, not just for himself, but also for Disney, Lucasfilm, and the Star Wars community around the globe. Now when we look at the character of Leia in The Force Awakens and in The Last Jedi, we all saw the growth of the character, how much screen time she got in each film. In The Force Awakens, obviously, she didn't have a lot of screen time. And in The Last Jedi, they lengthened her screen time. And now in Star Wars Episode 9, it's said that she will have even more screen time in this movie than both The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi combined, in order to honor the great Carrie Fisher. And honestly, I think that's a great move. I think that's a great idea by Abrams and crew in order to just really highlight the character of Leia. Now granted, one of the other legacy characters that will be a highlight of this movie has all to do with Lando Calrissian, one of my favorite characters in the Star Wars franchise. Billy D. Williams is a legend. I love the guy. He's great. So going into this, when it comes to Carrie Fisher, they also will be digging into some older footage from The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, and will be using a type of technology to cut the character out of some scenes of those films and inserting her into new environments in Episode 9. Now there's a lot of talk that they actually may have other actors actually portraying the character of Leia and filling in for certain angles and shots to portray the character as a, I guess you could say, supplement, if you will, in order to really make things feel complete, because there's only so much footage that they can use from the past two movies. And it's also said that they will be using more footage of Leia from The Last Jedi than they actually have for The Force Awakens, which is also good news, because I honestly do enjoy the appearance of Leia in The Last Jedi a whole lot more than The Force Awakens. I don't know about you guys, but Leia in The Force Awakens seems, I don't know, like she looked older in that movie than how she did in The Last Jedi. She honestly looked a whole lot younger with that hairstyle in The Last Jedi than how she did in The Force Awakens. So going into Episode 9 now, it's also said that they actually will be altering the character of Leia's actual uniform. So Leia's uniform that she is wearing in both The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi will be CGI modified. So that's honestly going to be a very hard thing to pull off, and hopefully it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb where, you know, you can tell it's CGI here and there. After all, guys, if you have seen Man of Steel, they can do a great job when it comes to CGI for clothing. In Man of Steel, there are numerous shots where his cape is actually CGI. I don't know if you guys knew that. So they could really pull it off very well, and that's one of the other plans that they do have for the character of Leia in this film. And lastly is, of course, they will actually have General Leia Organa interacting with some of the newer characters that Abrams will be introducing in this movie. So like I said, I think that this also ties into this technology that they are using in order to cut her out of older scenes and inserting her into the new scenes for Episode 9 in order to make it feel fresh and new, and not just, you know, using old clips from past movies and just throwing it into Episode 9. Now, with that being said, guys, what do you think about the character of Leia so far? You know, does she match up with the version of Leia in the original trilogy? Does it feel authentic? Does it feel tangible to you? Is that how you see Leia in the sequel trilogy in comparison to the original trilogy? Now, I will say that I enjoyed the character of Leia a whole lot more in Episode 8, besides, of course, the space scene. That's the one thing that kind of threw me off, was when she gets launched out into space and she lures herself back into the Radish ship. Again, a lot of people did not like that. I'm sure a lot of you guys will agree with me on this. But going into this movie, I have high hopes of what they're going to do with Leia, and they do have big plans for this film. I, however, feel that Leia just needs more limelight in the sequel trilogy than just being a general. I think that we need a more personal side to the character, a character where we can actually see what's going on in Leia's head, and a character that is able to talk about more personal things that has actually gone through her life, such as why she never became a Jedi. This was only explained in the books, in the actual I believe it was the Claudia Gray book, Bloodline. It's explained that Leia never became a Jedi because she was too involved with politics, and that was her passion. It was all about politics. And people are always questioning her, why didn't your brother, train you to become a Jedi just like him? And that was her explanation. So I think that, some little tidbits that are in the novels should be thrown into Episode 9 in order to fill things and pretty much tie everything together. After all, we do know that Abrams will be digging into not just the prequels and the originals, but also into novels, books, comics, video games, EU and Legends material, etc. Like I say, this movie is said to really gravitate to tons of Star Wars fans that are actually fans of the franchise on all different mediums out there. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.